before we get going here, obviously what happened there at the end of the game is not who we want to be as a program, okay? And it's embarrassing to me, and it's a distraction from a really well-played football game, right? So I want to apologize on behalf of the entire organization just in terms of how we represented the university there. We shouldn't have done that, and we won't do that going forward, and there'll be consequences for all involved, okay? So, I do think that, we played complimentary ball. I thought defensively we were really lights out. I mean, we had a season high in TFLs and sacks, limited the explosive plays, and then obviously created some takeaways, and we're able to take advantage of those on offense and get some points from those. Montreal goes over 3,000 yards. And look, I think, we didn't have our fastball on offense. I think it was evident there. We had some missed opportunities. And I do think that, could have been worse is what I would say. But I think we struggled at times there. We got to play better around the quarterback, obviously. Across the board there, I think we'll look back at it and we'll see that we got to play better around the quarterback. But in general, good ball. Good to see us finish it there in the second half, and then really proud of the leadership of the players. Obviously, we've talked all week about finishing the race, and we're here. So, yeah, proud of our team. What do we got?
Billy, you guys had 5 turnovers that you got tonight. They fumbled 8 times. Just what do you think about how opportunistic your defense was and how much they affected their quarterback?
Yeah, some of those were, just takeaway behavior. We talk about putting takeaway behavior on the film, do it in practice, you do it in the game. Second, third, fourth, fifth defender in, being around the ball, population around the ball contributes to turnovers. So, the mission here was to come here and put a bunch of identity clips on the tape, and I think we did that.
For you guys are clinching your first winning season since 2020. Just that step in the program, considering maybe even where you were just 3 weeks ago to where you are now.
Yeah, I think mid-season is when it all kind of came together. I think the players did a good job of kind of putting their blinders on in the first month. And didn't allow excuses, didn't allow blame, and really just went back to work, go back to that first open date. And I think that Tennessee game was pivotal, the way they responded to that. So, yeah, just in general, good to have some momentum, and I thought we took advantage. That was the mission was to capture the momentum that we had tonight. I thought we did that.
I know you weren't happy about the end of it, but just that locker room scene, the victory cigars, what does it mean for this team to be able to close the season out on that type of note?
Yeah, it's a huge positive. It's unfortunate that we have a distraction that again is inexcusable. So, look, our guys deserve it. They've worked their tails off. I'm proud of them. And, as a coach, you want to see the players get some gratification from all they work. These guys, what we asked them to do is not normal. And all they've done is just continue to show up. And they've brought the effort, brought the attitude, and they were ready to play.
Did you get a cigar?
Absolutely.
Bill, when you look back at the journey you've been on, was there a point in time when you said, okay, the attitude has changed to where we got to have it?
Yeah, I think that Wednesday of that first open date, that's where I kind of saw our guys change tunes a little bit, change gears as competitors, right? Get back to playing the game, enjoying playing the game. And then I think the way we competed on the road at Tennessee in that first half, we really showed up and fought our tails off and, thought we were in position to win that game. And then obviously that transition to Kentucky, and then the way we competed against Georgia, just all these things kept adding up. but in general, taking pride in how we compete on game day. You know, one thing we've learned is you got to earn it. You got to go take it. There's no shortcuts. There's no guarantee of a return. You got to do all the work during the week, and then when the ball gets spotted, you have to go execute. You have to win one-on-ones. You have to communicate at a high level. You got to play with an extra effort. You got to play with physicality. So I just think we figured out we can do it, and I think that it's football, and I think we got some guys that can play, and they finally started playing with some confidence. You know, I think that some belief, I think it's powerful.
Billy, the end of the half, how important getting a touchdown there, and then I had one about the DJ play, but first that, just getting that touchdown.
Yeah, no, we were trying to play make it, take it. I thought we managed the clock pretty good there. You know, we didn't start the half very good, so I was disappointed with that. But, yeah, I mean, to make it 2 scores and really just kind of extend the lead, you know, and get control of the game. At that point, it was, although we were in control, the score didn't reflect that, right? Mm-hmm. So making it 2 scores right before the half was big.
The DJ play? I mean, he's got a 330-pound guy. He's just got him in his grasp and just shucks him off. Superman.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, there was a handful of plays that are off schedule. You know, I mean, I think that's what he does, right? So he's going to be frustrated because he knows there were 6 or 8 plays out there where he could have been better. But, look, we got to play better around the quarterback. I didn't think we were as sharp. Every position there can be better around the quarterback tonight.
You've seen Montrell, you know, work hard to get back in August, and then again after the Tennessee.
Yeah.
How gratifying is it to see him kind of close the way he's closed his last
Yeah, you know, he worked his tail off to get over the high ankle, the bone bruise, you know, missed a chunk of the season there in the middle. And look, you can just see in this last week against Ole Miss, when he's on, you know, he's a little different, right? His patience, his acceleration, his vision, and then he showed some finishing speed tonight, right? So, Montrell, I mean, 3,000 yards. I mean, how many backs in the country right now have got 3,000 yards rushing? So, he's taking full advantage, and he's a class act off the field. He's everything you would want a player to be in terms of representing the program.
What's make it, take it mean?
Make it, take it, man. You play basketball,
Oh, yeah.
pick it, yeah. I mean, we try to make it right before the half and first possession of the second half, yeah.
Billy, on the note of the running backs, just talk about, you know, Montrell obviously was near 100 yards, and Jane and Jacoby were both over 50 yards. Talk about how satisfying it was. I think it was 235 yards total, especially since it's been really a mission the whole season to establish the run.
Yeah, 6.2 a rush, I think. And look, Florida State plays coverage every play. You know, they play with a light box. I mean, they're sticky in coverage. They're inviting the run. Much like Ole Miss last week. You know, I think you got to go to the park and establish that. We probably could have been more patient at times, you know, in the first half. So it makes everything else easier is what I would say. It makes the throw game better, the movement pass game better. We didn't quite connect. I think we hit DK once on a vertical route. You know, they did a pretty good job in coverage tonight. But, yeah, I mean, I think especially given the conditions, right? It's cold. You're on the road. You need to play with that type of physicality, and it was that type of day.
DJ shrugged off a sack there in the first half.
Yeah.
He was able to roll out and hit DK for a 17-yard gain. Just what do you think of not only that play, but his entire performance today and kind of a hostile environment against a rival?
Yeah, no, I thought he kept his composure. He stayed within himself, although maybe missed a few at times. I thought he just kept playing within the system, taking what they gave him. A big 3rd and 3 conversion to Tank Hawkins there late. You know, big throw to Chim, big throw to Burke, and then obviously the touchdown late. I mean, he did a good job. Again, I think that they matched our patterns pretty good at times tonight, and then I think we can play better around them. So overall, you know, there'll be things that he can learn from tonight's experience.
How have you seen the guys you talk about one-day contracts, one-game contracts. How have you seen them just handle positivity and be able to keep this momentum?
You know, I thought, I think we got a pretty mature group. I think they've fed off the energy. We're not to that point yet. We haven't done it enough to where it becomes, you know, I think we're addicted. You know, they like it. They want to do it more. You know, we're at that point, right? So, and I've been places where we win 26 in a row and it starts to wear off on the other end and you have to crack the whip all the time. But we don't have that issue right now. They're hungry. They like what they've experienced, the LSU game, the Ole Miss game, obviously tonight. Wednesday was one of the most physical practices. I mean, I'm at some points I'm kind of like, oof, let's get to the game, you know. We actually went in spiders on Thursday because I thought that it was so violent out there Wednesday. I was like, hey, let's tone it down a little bit here. Let's get them to the park. So we don't have that issue right now.
Billy, you've not made excuses about all the injuries this year, but how gratifying is it to finish with a winning record despite the numerous injuries you've had, so many of them to key players?
Well, look, I think some of our issues were when we had a full roster, right? So, you know, I mean, there's no excuse for the first month of the season, and we had everybody healthy at that point. So, but I think to your point is a good one in that the depth of the team proved to be valuable. I mean, we got 2 rookie DBs out there playing tonight. You know, Greg Smith and Jameer Grimsley are out there. So, yeah, I think next man up, big time in special teams. I think we have a lot of players that have played different roles. But, yeah, the running back group, I think, has stepped up when we had a few guys banged up in the secondary. And obviously the quarterback dynamic, you know, I mean, for a true freshman to play the way DJ's played down the stretch, to keep getting better.
Right guard.
Yeah, and I think Lovett, Waits. But, yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, and you play our schedule, you play in this league, you got to have depth. And there's always going to be critical pieces of the puzzle that got to play good ball for you down the stretch, right? So, and look, I'm hopeful that in the future here, we still got a couple games left, right? So we're learning that depth of your roster is really important. Now, you go into a playoff, you imagine playing a conference championship game and then playing a playoff game. So we have to continue to add good players to the team, and we got to develop those players all throughout the offseason so when we do need them, they're ready to play.
Billy, what's it say about Cam Jackson? I mean, he goes down the first play, it looked pretty bad. And he comes in as 2 sacks.
Yeah. Makes you wonder how bad he really was hurt. No, I think sometimes, look, Cam's a tough kid. You know, he's come a long way. I'm proud of him. You know, he taped that thing up, spatted it up. Sometimes these guys get scared, right? Like, especially guys that are he's right on the door here of his NFL career. So he toughed it out and came back, and obviously that's a good sign. I'm happy for him.
Considering how hungry your guys are now and how they've evolved over the course of the year, you feel like y'all can play with anybody right now?
Yeah, no, I think, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I put the ball down. I mean, we played all the good teams. We know what they look like. So, yeah, I'm excited. We're going to get to play one more time. That's all we can control. I wouldn't bet against us. That's what I would say.
Is spot the ball the theme on this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's become the strength and conditioning staff actually. That was kind of one of their themes for the week. I think it just goes back to preparing a certain way during the week, and then once you get to the park, put the ball down, and you have to go compete. You have to go execute. You got to go play ball. You know, so, and I think just an attitude of, hey, put the ball down. We don't care who you are, where we're at, or what time we're kicking off. You know, we're up for the challenge. And again, we recruited all these kids. We told them, you have to be up for this challenge. There's no running from it. There's no hiding. We have work to do to rebuild and to get ourselves in position. And the good thing is here in year 3 on the back half of this season, we've done that, right? So we have some momentum, but there is lots of work to do here, like to get to where we want to go. But it's good to have some momentum here, and obviously we need to carry this over into the way we prepare for the bowl game. We need to finish this academic semester strong and sign some good players next week.
When it comes to recruiting, I know you talked about that leading up to the game, playing an in-state rival. Now that the game is past, you guys got a pretty convincing win. Just talk about what today could mean with early Saturday coming up.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've done a good job evaluating players and recruiting players. That's not been our issue here. What we needed to do is prove ourselves on the grass, right? Prove to recruits that we can teach and develop players and that our formula works and win, right? There's nothing that is better for recruiting than winning. And ultimately, I think that's kind of been the final piece of the puzzle is some stability and prove it between the lines that your formula works. And I think we've done that the last couple of weeks.
Another rivalry win. What does this mean for you in the program also? You know, you beat LSU earlier, and now you're starting to beat rivals.
Yeah, I think it's what we came here to do. You know, if we want to go where we intend to go, we're going to have to do it consistently. So there's never been more parity in college football, in my opinion, than there is right now. You know, so the portal, NIL, I just think there's a ton of parity, and it's even more important that you have good culture within the walls. There's got to be, you know, like I told you guys in the beginning, many may see it differently, but for me, more demanding and more stringent than ever before due to the current dynamic.